Welcome back to the Scotti-BYTE channel, and this is Scott. So in my tutorial last time, where I talked about LXD storage pools and volumes, we learned how to create additional LXD storage pools. And in that presentation, I demonstrated how to create containers in another storage pool. So we also learned how to create and use custom volumes in conjunction with those containers. It is also important to understand how to move containers from one storage pool to another, and that's what we're going to do this time. In the last video entitled LXD Storage Pools and Volumes, you'll notice that I created a virtual disk for my Pool 2 storage area. This time I'm going to do something a little bit different simply because I haven't covered it in a while, and I'm going to start out with an LSBLK. And you'll notice that I have a device here called SDF, and it is a 10 terabyte drive down here, a spinning drive. So I'm going to use that drive and use the entire drive as a basis for my ZFS pool. And I do that by a zpool or a sudo zpool create pool2/dev/SDF. And in this case, I say /m none, which means no mount point, because I won't need a mount point specifically since I'm going to use this as a storage pool that is directly connected to my LXD server. So now that it went ahead and created the storage pool, of course I could do is sudo zpool list. And you'll notice that I have now pool 2. And then the next step I want to do is a LXD storage create pool 2. ZFS is the type of pool, and then source equals pool 2. And that'll go ahead and connect LXD to it. LXD now knows about both storage pools, and I can do a LXD storage list. And you'll see that we have the default pool, which is a ZFS pool, and we also have pool 2. Also, while we're here, note that the default pool currently has 14 objects associated with it. And if you watch the previous video, LXD Storage Pools and Volumes, you learn that those things can be images, they can be containers, they can be volumes, or they can even be profiles. Let's do a LXD list here, and we have a few containers, but they all are LXD virtual machines. So I'm going to create a container 1 with Ubuntu 2204. I'm giving it the default profile, and I'm also giving it the bridge profile as we've discussed in LXD step by step. So I'm creating that container right now. And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to create a container 2 as well. Now both of those containers are going to be located in the default storage pool. So notice this time I did not create a pool 2 profile, and so I couldn't create my containers in that pool immediately. But this use case is going to be a little bit different. So what we can do is we can move a container. We're going to move container 1 over to container-temp and put it in pool 2. Now whenever we do a move command, we need another system name, so it's not possible to use the same name, but with the -s pool 2, it means move that container from pool 1 over to pool 2. Now notice it says it's unable to perform a live container migration, and that's why first we must do a LXD stop container 1. And since we're going to move container 2 also, we'll do a LXD stop container 2. With both containers now stopped, we can go execute this move command, LXD move container 1 over to the new name container-temp, and then the storage pool pool 2, and it will successfully execute that move operation. Since I didn't want to really rename my container, I can turn around and say LXD move container-temp over to container 1, and that is effectively just a rename command. And now likewise, I want to move container 2 over to pool 2, and so with it, I'm going to say LXD move container 2 to container-temp over in pool 2. Now that that move is completed, I'll rename that container back to its original name with LXD move container-temp back to container 2. So let's go see what's actually in pool 2, and we can do that by LXD Storage Volume List on pool 2, and we see that container 1 and container 2 are over in pool 2. And likewise, we can do a LXD Storage List, and you'll notice that we have pool 2 with 2 objects in it. And unlike last time, we ended up with a third and fourth object because we had the Ubuntu 2204 image over there, and we also had the profile over there for the pool 2 profile. In this particular case, since we didn't originally create the container over in pool 2, but we just moved it there, we just have 2 objects, and those 2 objects are simply the 2 containers. We haven't started either of those containers, but let's just assume that maybe we started them, worked with them for a while, and decided we weren't going to need them later. So we did a LXD delete container 1 and a LXD delete container 2. Now if I go back up and say LXD storage list, you can see that 0 objects are using pool 2. Since there are no objects using pool 2 any longer, if I wanted to delete pool 2, I could say LXD storage delete pool 2, and it would say that pool 2 has been deleted. And likewise, if I did a LXD storage list, we're only going to see the default pool because pool 2 has been deleted. And if I do a sudo zpool list, we're only going to see the default pool on the system as well. And at this point, I could remove that disk drive and repurpose it for something else. So in summary, both LXD Dashboard and Lex Console are great GUI management tools for LXD containers and LXD virtual machines. However, these tools and the LXD CLI really do not provide an easy way to manage containers between storage pools. Hopefully, both Incus and LXD will evolve to improve this visibility and functionality. We saw today the way to move containers between storage pools. Anyway, that's it for today. Please subscribe and like to the channel, and don't forget to hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time.